Row crop agriculture is facing a growing problem in Mississippi. Slowly but surely, the Delta is running out of water for use in irrigation. However, an Extension Service-sponsored program is turning the tide on this problem. In this week's feature story, we take a look at one water conservation tool being implemented now by Delta farmers that appears to be reducing the amount of irrigation needed to grow a crop while improving producers' profits. The project allowed for what you might call a friendly competition between researcher and farmer as far as who knows when to irrigate best. This story first aired on Farm Week last August. These two soybean fields separated by a farm road represent two different approaches to irrigation. One field is equipped with a scientific tool to determine when it's time to water. In the other, the farmer just uses a traditional method, a visual inspection of soil and crop, to decide when to irrigate. These fields at SIMMONS Planting Company in Arcola are one of the demonstration sites in the Delta for RISER, an acronym for Row Crop Irrigation Science and Extension Research.
We feel like water is our most valuable resource. Next to the land that we plant crops on, water is our most valuable resource, and we're interested in doing what we can to conserve and properly use that water.
For the demonstration project, BUBBA Simmons allowed Extension Irrigation Specialist Jason KRUTZ to install soil moisture sensors in one field, and for KRUTZ to make all decisions as far as when to irrigate that field. The sensors were placed at depths of 6, 12, 24, and 36 inches in the soil.
But our extension locations, all of them we set up with about the $500, $550 package where we got the data to the edge of the field on an LCD screen where they could get a real-time reading of the moisture status at those various depths, and also a graph of the moisture status over the last several months.
Meanwhile, in the adjoining soybean field on the farm, BUBBA Simmons called all the shots as far as when to water. He would start the pump on his irrigation well to put water on the field based on a shovel inspection of the soil and the visual condition of the plants. There was no scientific accuracy involved in the decision-making process. Towards the end of the growing season, records indicate the field with the water sensors here had at least 2 fewer irrigations with no adverse effects on soybean yield. And that was typical across the Delta in the sensor-equipped fields enrolled in the RISER program.
We typically start irrigating soybeans just as soon as we see a flower come up. Our producers feel real comfortable about running an irrigation shot down then. Most of our sites, we were able to hold them up a week or two past that. So that was probably saving them irrigation event then. And here at BUBBA Simmons Farm, because we had the soil moisture sensors in at this location, we can see the fields coming down. We were really able to judge if we had enough water in that profile to get us able to avoid that last irrigation shot. So in Bubba's fields that he was managing, he sent one more shot of water down, but our sensor data was telling us that we probably had enough moisture to get to R6.5, which is the point that our soybean specialist in Mississippi wants us to ensure that we have adequate moisture to that point to not cost us any yield loss. So again, able to save an irrigation on the front and back side.
Northeast of Arcola, near Ruleville, Mississippi, David Arant is another farmer who also enrolled some fields in the RISER program.
I just kind of wanted to be able to utilize our water more efficiently. I mean, water is it's not an infinite resource.
Once again, soil moisture sensors like this were put into the soil in a field as part of the demonstration project. On this farm, they were placed at depths of 6 inches, 12 inches, and 24 inches. In addition to being connected to an LED screen at the edge of the field for monitoring, David also had a handheld meter to check moisture by walking out into the field where the sensors were buried. David says he saw how the moisture sensors could make a big difference and save him money, especially with his corn crop.
I had 3 different test plots, if you will, on some of my corn fields, ranging from kind of really lighter soil all the way to heavy clay. And you know, the moisture meters on the corn, it saved me anywhere from 1 to 2 irrigations. On one field, I only irrigated it twice, you know, versus 4 times for other fields. And you know, that's kind of, you know, the moisture meters kind of stagger your irrigation, so you increase the likelihood of catching a rain. You're saving money by not having to burn diesel or electricity to irrigate. So it's a pretty big savings overall.
Extension irrigation specialist Jason KRUTZ says the moisture sensors not only improve a farmer's profitability, but they do it while maintaining or even improving crop yields, almost guaranteed.
What we saw in corn was that it was potential to slightly increase the yield. It wouldn't be much. We're talking about 5, 6, 7 bushels with approximately 47 to 50% less water than our producers are typically applying.
Producers in the Riser program are finding the sensor technology to be not only valuable, but very practical and useful on a day-to-day basis.
There's something that's almost fun to look at and see what a rainfall event does to soil moisture, to see what an irrigation event does to soil moisture, and to see what it does at different depths. It's something I check daily.
That's the other thing, after say a half-inch rain, one thing that I've been amazed about is how well the soil responds to even just a half-inch rain. At the surface it might be bone dry before the rain, then you get a half-inch and your surface looks pretty good, but you're kind of questioning what is it doing, at the 6-inch depth, 12-inch or 24-inch depth, and that's kind of really where those meters come into play.
The positive experience of these and other producers with the moisture sensors is exactly what Jason KRUTZ was hoping for, especially when compared to other available irrigation scheduling technologies.
And we chose to move out to our extension locations the soil moisture sensor because it's something that a producer can touch, can see, and they're very visual just like we are and seem to really respond to the information they glean from that. So seeing the response from our producers in our extension locations and talking with them how they responded to these soil moisture sensors and the data they can see in real time, I felt like that was going to be the way to get them to adopt this scheduling technology as rapidly as possible.
And that's the bottom line goal of the Riser program, to make Mississippi farmers better and more efficient irrigators using moisture sensors or other tools. The end result is less over-irrigation while maintaining adequate soil moisture with no yield loss. From the Mississippi Delta, I'm Leighton SPANN reporting.
And if you're interested in information on using soil moisture sensors, you can watch this story again at our website, also on our Facebook page or on YouTube. We'll also have contact information on our website for Jason KRUTZ as well, and that address is farmweek.msucares.com. And that program actually is expanding this season. They are adding cooperators who have rice fields as well as a few cotton fields. So continuing to grow, and they're actually looking into peanuts now, and a year from now they may add some peanut fields as well.
I think this is just going to catch on fast. It can't help but catch on fast, because when you can grow more, use less water, less expense, it's going to do it. I just can't see how it's not going to catch on. Good story, Leighton.